Hello sweet reader friends, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new video, welcome to a new day. Welcome to the first fall themed video on my channel for 2024. I still feel like it's a little bit too early to be talking about fall, but then I think about how like we all start to get our seasonal TBRs like before the season actually starts, so it makes sense. It's also still like 90 something degrees where I'm at, so it just feels a little bit odd to be talking about fall, but I'm so beyond ready for it. I'm so sick of these extremely high temperatures. So for the last couple weeks, I have been doing a lot of research online to try and find like the perfect fall books to add to my TBR this year. I really love like the fall atmosphere. I love the fall vibes. But as a Christian reader, I feel like it's really hard for me to find fallish themed books that don't have certain things in it that I try to avoid. So I've been really struggling to curate the perfect fall TBR for myself, at least. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of research online, and I have found something, like I definitely have some like fall-ish vibed books on my TBR right now, but they aren't like the most fall vibes, you know? So I figured what better way to go and curate and find the best fall TBR than to actually just go to the bookstores and find kind of what speaks to you, you know? So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. Is I'm going to be going to 2 different bookstores today, and I'm just going to be walking around, browsing, looking at the covers of everything, reading synopsis of everything, and just seeing kind of like what pokes out to me and what gives me that like really fall autumnal feeling. It is pretty chilly this morning, very brisk. It's a crispy 47 degrees where I'm at right now, but the high for today is 84, so I didn't know if I should wear a sweater or a short sleeve. I'm going cozy today, so I just have my thrifted like zip up thing, and then I've got some really comfy leggings from Aerie, and then I think I'm just gonna put on my fake Ugg boots, and if I get hot, I can just zip this down and call it good. So let's get going to the bookshops. I don't mind witchy books if they're like the cozy witchy books, so like Harry Potter. There's another one that I have on my shelf, but I forgot. It's like the something Society of Irregular Witches. I have that one on my bookshelf as well. And it's just like a cozy, very surface level like witchy book. And so that kind of stuff I don't mind. It's just when it gets like dark magic and like seance-y and stuff, I just don't really like feel comfortable with that kind of stuff. But I did find a cute little like cozy witchy themed romance thing at Barnes & Noble, and then I also really want to pick up The Spell Shop and then Voyage of the Damned, and then there's a few other ones, I forgot the titles of them. I'll have to look back and like add them in later, but I did find some very like fallish themed books at Barnes & Noble just now, but now I'm at Half Price Books and I'm going to take a little gander around there as well. I'm going to share like my full fall TBR once I get home, but those are just a couple of books that I definitely want to pick up. I would also love to find more cozy fall murder mysteries series. I did read the first book in the Veronica Speedwell series, and I really enjoyed it, and I think that would be a really fun, like, fallish read. But they also have some that are, like, literally, like, very fall themed, like Pumpkin Pie Murder or, like, something like that. So those would be really fun to kind of look into. But yeah, I'm going to go into Half Price Books now and see what I can find. Okay, hello friends. I am back from the bookstore. No, I did not just buy all of these. I wish. But I did end up buying 2 books from Half Price Books, and that is Wishtress by Nadine Brands and Interesting Facts About Space by Emily Austin. This one I didn't even mean to get, but I was like on my way out, and right by the door they had a little sale cart and it was $3. I've actually been wanting to buy this for the last couple weeks, but I've been waiting until the next time that I went book shopping, and this one was only $10. So $13 for 2 hardcovers, which you guys are probably saying, Faith, I thought that you didn't like hardcovers. And you would be kind of right, because I usually don't, but lately for some reason they haven't been bothering me as much. I also have been doing this thing where I like tape the inside of the dust jacket to the book so that it doesn't move around. I mean, I can just take it off, but I also am weird with textures and I don't really love the feeling of hardcover books without a dust jacket over them. So I found that just taping the book jacket to the actual book itself is the best option for me when consuming hardbacks. But guys, I think I have found my personal perfect TBR for fall. It is pretty ambitious, I will say. There's about 20 something books on it. So I'll just start with one of the books that I just got, and that is Wishtress. This one is, I believe, a YA fantasy, but it's also written by a Christian author, so it's like Christian fiction, which I thought was really cool. It's about our main character, Mirth, and she was born with the ability to turn tears into wishes. When a granted wish goes wrong, she is cursed. The next tear she sheds will kill her. She must travel to the well to break the curse before it can claim her life. To survive the journey, Mirth must harden her heart to keep herself from crying even a single tear. He can stop time with the snap of his fingers. Bastion's powerful and rare talent came in handy when he kidnapped the old king. Now the new king has a job for him: find the Wishtress and deliver her to the Skloss. What is the Skloss? But Bastion needs a wish of his own. He gains Mirth's trust by promising to take her to the well, but once he gets what he needs, he'll turn her in, as long as his growing feelings for the girl with a stone heart don't compromise him. Their quest can only end one way, with her death. Everyone seems to need a wish, and they're ready to bully, beg, and betray her for it. No one knows that to grant even one wish, Mirth would pay with her life, and if she tells them about the curse, they'll just kill her anyway. This seems like very high stakes. It seems like a really like magical and kind of adventurous in a way read. I really just got the fall vibes from the cover. I feel like this is going to be a good one for like late fall, early winter, you know, because it's like transitioning on the cover. So that's the first book that I have, and then the next one I have is Anatomy, a love story by Dana Schwartz. What's that? Hello? Hi. Sorry, pardon that interruption. So we have Anatomy by Dana Schwartz, and this one I believe is about our main character, what is her name? Hazel, and I believe she wants to be a surgeon or something, and she wants to like sit in on this doctor's class, but he like won't let her until she gets like practice or something. She has to pass the medical examination on her own, so she pretty much like needs bodies to practice on. So it's just very like eerie, kind of gothic-y vibes. I think this will be a really good read for October and kind of more spooky season. Rachel Catherine also, I believe, recently read this, and she said she really liked this duology. Next, I have The Ornithologist Field Guide to Love. This one gives me Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia Fairies vibes, except for ornithologist, because it's about these 2 ornithologists who go out to find some rare bird, and this little sentence on the back says, rival ornithologists hunt through England for a rare magical bird in this historical fantasy rom-com reminiscent of Indiana Jones, but with manners, tea, and helicopter parasols. Sounds like such a good time. The fall vibes are are all over it. And with how much I loved the atmosphere of Emily Wilde, I feel like I'm gonna love the atmosphere of this. This next one will probably be a surprise to no one, and that is Belladonna by, I believe it's Adeline Grace. I have the special edition. I have the actual dust jacket of this somewhere, but I decided to take it off because this edition is absolutely gorgeous. This one is a very gothic, I think fantasy romance type of thing. The love interest, I believe, is Death himself. Don't know a whole lot else about it. I think it has something to do with a lot of her loved ones have passed, and I think she lives with like maybe her uncle or something. There's some like murder mystery also in the household. It just sounds like a good time. I've heard really good things about it as well. And again, this edition is just absolutely beautiful. Here's the actual like name of the book. It doesn't really say it on the front. Next, I have the second book in the Veronica Speedwell series. I did read the first one, I believe, last year. You know what? I might just reread this series, like with the first book, so I can read the second book, because I don't really remember a whole lot that happened. And I did listen to it on audiobook the first time. This one follows our main character, Veronica Speedwell, and she is a newly orphaned butterfly huntress, I guess is how I would say it. And she's about to, like, I think go on some expedition or something. She's about to leave, like, her hometown when she thwarts her own abduction with the help of an enigmatic German baron who has ties to her mysterious past. Promising to reveal in time what he knows of the plot against her, the baron offers her temporary sanctuary in the care of his friend Stoker, a reclusive natural historian as intriguing as he is bad-tempered. But before the Baron can deliver on his tantalizing vow to reveal the secrets he has concealed for decades, he is found murdered. Suddenly, Veronica and Stoker are forced to go on the run from an elusive assailant as wary partners in search of the villainous truth. This, from what I can remember from the first book, it's super fun. I loved the banter between Veronica and Stoker, and so I'm just really excited to like carry that on into the next few books. Next, we have Can't Spell Treason Without T. This is a fun little cozy fantasy romance type of thing, and it follows Rhaena and Cayanthe. Rhaena works as one of the queen's private guards, and Cayanthe is the most powerful mage in existence. I feel like I'm saying mage wrong. Mage? No, I think it's mage. So leaving their lives isn't so easy, but after an assassin takes Rhaena hostage, she decides she's thoroughly done risking her life for a self-centered queen. Meanwhile, Cayanthe has been waiting for a chance to flee responsibility, all the better that her girlfriend is on board. Together they settle in Tawny, a town that boasts more dragons than people, and open the shop of their dreams. What follows is a cozy tale of mishaps, mystery, and a murderous queen throwing the realm's biggest temper tantrum. In a story brimming with hurt, comfort, and quiet fireside conversations, these two women will discover just what they mean to each other and the world. It sounds so cozy. I love how it's like that cozy fantasy, but it also has like some deeper elements, I'm assuming, to it. Next, I have Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. This is going to be my first T. Kingfisher book that I will read. Well, I don't know if I'm going to read this one first because I have a few other T. Kingfisher books in my TBR, but this one specifically is about Mara, and Mara is a shy, convent-raised third-born daughter. After years of seeing her sister suffer at the hands of an abusive prince, she's finally realized that no one is coming to their rescue, well, no one except Mara herself. Seeking help from a powerful grave witch, Mara is offered the tools to kill a prince if she can complete 3 impossible tasks. On her quest, Mara is joined by the grave witch, a reluctant fairy godmother, a strapping former knight, and a chicken possessed by a demon. Together, the 5 of them intend to be the hand that closes around the throat of the prince and frees Mara's family and their kingdom from its tyrannous ruler at last. This one, I'm a little skeptical about. I've heard really good things about it, but I almost feel like it's going to border on things that I don't necessarily like to read about, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I will like proceed with caution on this one, but because I've heard really good things about it, I wanted to just add it in. Next, I have Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This one is an adult friends to lovers or best friends to lovers, childhood friends to lovers romance. I think it might also be Second Chance, but I could be wrong. That's kind of all I know about it, but because it has been recommended to me by so many people, I wanted to add it into this TBR, and this cover specifically just is very like fall for me. It's the cabin, the trees, the drink on there. It's so cozy. Next, I have Assistant to the Villain. This one I've actually talked about quite a bit on my channel, but this follows our main character, Evie, and she's seeking employment, and she ends up being employed by a villain, and it's kind of just like a humorous, cozy fantasy following her journey as she's like super into her villainous boss, and as someone's trying to like take down his whole kingdom or whatever. It sounds hilarious. I've heard so many good things about it, and I feel like cozy fantasy is just super good for the fall season. Next, I have another cozy, funny fantasy, and that is Dreadful. This one follows our main character, Gav, and Gav has woken up in this evil wizard's workshop just to realize that he is the evil wizard, so he doesn't remember who he is, what his goal is, who the princess is locked up in his castle or whatever it is. All he can do is play along with his own evil plan in hopes of getting his memories back before he gets himself killed. This one also just sounds hilarious, and I feel like this is gonna be a really good spooky season read too, just because of like the cover. I mean, this is so spooky season vibes. That's like funny spooky season. you know. Next we have Two Wrongs Make a Right by Chloe Leese. I picked this one because the cover literally just screams fall. It's really the leaves for me. It's the tree. It's her dress. This one follows our two characters who are complete opposites, but their friends, I believe, like keep trying to set them up, so they're trying to like feed into it, and then they like fake date just to like end up proving them wrong or something, and then they actually end up falling for each other. It sounds really fun, and I've heard Chloe Leese also does a really good representation of neurodivergence, which I really love to see, so that'll be a fun one. The next one that I have also has a really good like neurodivergence rep, and that is Last Call at the Local. This one of you guys actually recommended to me, and it follows our two characters, Rain and Jack. Rain, I believe, is a free-spirited American singer-songwriter with ADHD, and Jack is the owner of like a local pub or something with OCD. Something happens and Rain cannot like continue either her tour or just can't continue to like play anymore. So Rain and Jack meet, I believe, at his pub, and she has like an idea to, I don't know, like help the business. So they kind of become like business partners in a way. And I think that's kind of like where their story begins, I guess. I don't really know, to be honest, but it looks so cozy. I mean, the cover itself just looks so cozy. I think it's just like what she's wearing and like the coziness of background, their drinks, like it just feels very fall for me. Next, I have Death at Morning House, and this is by Maureen Johnson, who also wrote the Truly Devious series. I didn't love the Truly Devious series, so I was a little bit skeptical to pick this one for my fall TBR, but this one, I don't know, just like looks really good. It's about a teen who uncovers a mystery while working as a tour guide on an island and must solve it before history repeats itself. She ends up at Morning House, and that's a mansion that was built on an island in the 1920s and abandoned shortly after. I feel like the atmosphere of this book is going to be very like eerie and kind of autumnal and just really fun. I feel like Maureen Johnson's books are very autumnal, and I just love a good YA mystery thriller. Next, I have The Briar Club, and this is a YA historical fiction mystery thriller type of thing. Everyone keeps to themselves at Briarwood House, a down-at-the-heels all-female boarding house in the heart of the nation's capital where secrets hide behind white picket fences. But when the lovely, mysterious widow Grace March moves into the attic, she draws her oddball collection of neighbors into unlikely friendship. Poised English beauty Fliss, whose facade of perfect wife and mother covers gaping inner wounds, police officer's daughter Nora, who is entangled with a shadowy gangster, frustrated baseball star Bia, whose career has ended along with the Women's Baseball League of World War II, and poisonous, gung-ho Arlene, who has thrown herself into McCarthy's Red Scare. Grace's weekly attic room dinner parties and window brewed sun tea become a healing balm on all of their lives. She hides a terrible secret of her own. When a shocking act of violence tears apart the house, the Briar Club women must decide once and for all who is the true enemy in their midst. This one sounds very intriguing, very empowering. I have really been liking getting into like historical fiction, and I feel like having it being a historical fiction YA like mystery would make it a lot more intriguing for me personally. The next one we have is Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and I'm a little bit scared to read this one, if I'm being honest, because I have just learned recently that I don't love Ali Hazelwood's books as much as I thought I did. I also don't really like all of the unnecessary smut that is in her books sometimes, and I've heard that this one has some particularly interesting smut that I'm scared. I'm going to skip it, but even just knowing that that is going to be in there at some point makes me a little bit nervous. This is pretty much just a little fantasy romance type of book about a vampire and a werewolf. Don't really know much else aside from that. Next, I have The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This is a cozy fantasy, and it follows our main character who is like pretending to be a witch. I think she has like a TikTok or some kind of social media where she like pretends to do like magic, and then there's someone who like contacts her to try to bring her in somewhere that has like magical people, and they want her to teach 3 young witches how to control their magic. As Mika begins to find her place at this house, the thought of belonging somewhere feels like a real possibility, but magic isn't the only danger in the world, and when peril comes knocking at the door, Mika will need to decide whether to risk everything to protect a found family she didn't know she was looking for. This just sounds super cozy and cute, and I've heard really, really good things about it. The next one is one that I saw at Half Price Books today, and one that I actually do have on Kindle, and that is The Will of the Many. This one doesn't necessarily have like super autumnal vibes, but it is just one that I want to read in autumn and fall/fall. First of all, this one has a 4.63 rating on Goodreads and 50.5 thousand reviews, so that's a really high, really good rating. This is an adult fantasy, mystery, high fantasy, science fiction. The little synopsis says, the Katanan Republic, the hierarchy, may rule the world now, but they do not know everything. I tell them my name is Vitelemus. I tell them I was orphaned after a tragic accident 3 years ago, and that good fortune alone has led to my acceptance into their most prestigious school. I tell them that once I graduate, I will gladly join the rest of the civilized society in allowing my strength, my drive, and my focus, what they call will, to be leached away and added to the power of those above me, as millions already do, as all must eventually do. I tell them that I belong, and they believe me. But the truth is that I have been sent to the academy to find answers, to solve a murder, to search for an ancient weapon, to uncover secrets that may tear the Republic apart, and that I will never ever cede my will to the empire that executed my family. To survive, though, I will still have to rise through the academy's ranks. I will have to smile and make friends and pretend to be one of them and win, because if I cannot, then those who want to control me, who know my real name, will no longer have any use for me, and if the hierarchy finds out who I truly am, they will kill me. This, honestly, kind of in a way reminds me of Red Rising, so that's gonna be interesting. This is also a very thick book. I think it's like it's over 600 pages, but because it had such high ratings, I felt like I needed to read it. Okay, the last chunk that I have, these next two are by the same author, and that is Erin Morgenstern, and that is The Night Circus and The Starless Sea. Night Circus is about this circus that arrives without warning mysteriously. There's a duel between two young magicians who have been trained since childhood expressly for this purpose by their mercurial instructors. This is a game in which only one can be left standing. Despite themselves, Celia and Marco tumble headfirst into love, a deep magical love that makes the lights flicker and the room grow warm whenever they so much as brush hands. True love or not, the game must play out, and the fates of everyone involved, from the cast of extraordinary circus performers to the patrons, hang in the balance. Suspended as precariously as the daring acrobats overhead, written in rich, seductive prose, this spellcasting novel is a feast for the senses and the heart. I've just heard that this has really good, like, autumnal vibes, and it's just a very, like, magical read to read in this time. And then the next one, The Starless Sea, this one is about our main character who I believe he's like looking through a library or books of some sort, and he reads a story from his own life. So he ends up going on a journey, like trying to figure out what the heck is going on, pretty much. It's very magical. I think there might be a little bit of a found family trope, but again, have heard really good things about it. Next, I have Howl's Moving Castle, and this one is a middle grade fantasy. And this one follows our main character, Sophie, and Sophie has found herself under a horrid spell that transforms her into an old lady. Her only chance at breaking it lies in the ever-moving castle in the hills, which is the wizard Howl's castle. So she must handle the heartless Howl, strike a bargain with a fire demon, and meet the Witch of the Waste head on. Along the way, she discovers that there's far more to Howl in herself than first meets the eye. Again, have heard really good things about this one, and I don't know why it's taken me so long to pick it up, but just very, very fall autumnal vibe. Next, I have Indigo Ridge by Devney Perry. This one is an adult, like, mystery romance type of book, and it follows our main character, Winslow. And I guess there's like a founding family who are the Edens, and once upon a time she had like a one-night stand or something with one of the Eden boys, and I believe they try to keep as much distance between them as possible because he is insufferable, arrogant, and she tries to avoid him, like I said, as much as possible. There is then a murder, I believe, in the town that I don't know if it like kind of brings them together somehow, but that happens, and I don't know the rest. I have heard really good things about this, and just the vibes of it seem a little bit more like eerie and autumnal. And I also just needed to add some more like mysteries into this mix that weren't just like cozy mysteries, you know? The next one that I have that I saw at Barnes & Noble and also had on my shelves is Sorcery of Thorns. This is a YA fantasy. It has a very good library element to it. This one follows our main character, Elizabeth. Raised as a foundling in one of the Ostermere's great libraries, Elizabeth has grown up among magical grimoires that rattle beneath iron chains, capable of transforming into grotesque monsters. When an act of sabotage releases the library's most dangerous grimoire, Elizabeth is accused of treason. With no one to turn to but her sworn enemy, the sorcerer Nathaniel Thorne, and his mysterious servant, she finds herself entangled in a centuries-old conspiracy. Not only could the great libraries go up in flames, but the world along with them. This looks so magical. I just love the library element that is in this book, and I've also heard really good things about it. And the very last one that I have is not one that I saw in the bookstores today, but it is one that I had on my shelves that I realized was very fitting for autumn, and that is The Alice Curse. This one is an adult fantasy romance, but it is also Alice in Wonderland inspired, if you couldn't tell by the cover. Wonderland must always have an Alice, and Eliza Carroll is the next. Eliza flees her parents' political machinations only to stumble into another world in the arms of a man named Finn, who declares her the next Alice. Finn, nicknamed the White Rabbit for the form he can shift into, was sent to find the new Alice and bring her to court, for only she can declare whether red or white reigns, not to mention he'll lose his head if he fails. For Eliza to get home and Finn to survive, have to navigate two treacherous courts and their growing feelings for one another, while trying to unravel the curse that forces the Carol woman to journey to Wonderland. But a path to freedom for them both may be more than the magic of Wonderland can conjure, even for its new Alice. I just love myself a good Alice in Wonderland like reimagining or Alice in Wonderland inspired story. But guys, I believe that is it for this fall TBR. I had such a good time going to the bookstores and like finding just all the books that kind of spoke out to me, and it was also fun like seeing books that I already had like on the shelves, because sometimes I feel like when they're in the shelves I forget that I have them. So kind of just going to the bookstore and looking at all the autumnal theme type of books, it just reminded me of what I also already have on my shelves, and I feel like I did get a lot of inspiration for some new reads, and I definitely got some more titles that I have to put on my to buy list or find them at the library, of course. Let me know what you guys are reading for fall in the comments below. I would love any other fall-ish book recommendation. I'm so excited to start my autumnal reading journey. Official fall is in just a few weeks and I am so ready for it. So stay tuned for all the really cozy, fun fall vlogs of me reading these books. But for now, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, morning, night, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah!